The Bill of Rights, as the first 10 amendments of the U.S. Constitution, plays a pivotal role in safeguarding individual freedoms while ensuring a balance between protecting personal liberties and maintaining a just and orderly society. It is the foundation of American democracy, ensuring that rights are protected from government overreach while outlining the responsibilities that come with those freedoms. Part 1. The Introduction. The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution. Ratified in 1791, it was created to ensure the protection of individual freedoms and limit the power of the government, addressing concerns raised by anti-federalists who feared the Constitution did not do enough to safeguard personal liberties. What was the purpose of the Bill of Rights? The Bill of Rights, which was created by James Madison, serves the purpose of guaranteeing fundamental rights such as freedom of speech, religion, and assembly, as well as the right to a fair trial and protection from unfair government actions. These amendments ensure that citizens are not subjected to unjust treatment by the government or its agents. In summary, ensures that all humans have rights that should not be violated. I will dive deeper into all these amendments later on in the video. Now that you've learned what the Bill of Rights is and what's its purpose, let's talk about how it's significant. Significance lies in its role as a foundational document for American democracy, affirming that individual rights are paramount and that the government must operate within the bounds of these protections. Over time, the Bill of Rights has influenced not only the U.S. law, but also global human rights standards, making it one of the most important legal documents in history. Part 2. The Amendments. As said before, I will now dive deep into the 10 amendments and explain them briefly to deepen your understanding on this topic. But before I start, what exactly are the 10 amendments? The first 10 amendments, ratified in 1791, lay out fundamental rights and freedoms for individuals, as well as certain responsibilities for both the government and the citizen. Here are a summary of those rights and responsibilities. To start off, we have the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects several fundamental rights. It guarantees freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly, and petition. This means that individuals can express themselves freely, practice any religion or none, gather peacefully, and voice their grievances to the government without fear of punishment. The video playing in the back is a great example of the First Amendment. This video is showing how hundreds of Egyptians gathered at the Rafah border crossing to protest against the U.S. President's suggestion that Palestinians in Gaza be moved to Jordan and Egypt. Now, here's the Second Amendment. This amendment protects the right of individuals to own and carry firearms. It was originally included in the Bill of Rights to ensure that states could maintain militias, groups of armed citizens, which were seen as important for defense and security in the early days of the nation. This amendment has a lot of controversy surrounding it, as there are those who want it abolished and those who want it to stay for good. Just listen to this remark that our current president has said.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that will be a horrible day.
Moving on, we now have the Third Amendment. The Third Amendment protects citizens from being forced to house or quarter soldiers in their homes during peacetime without their consent. During wartime, it still limits this practice, but allows it to occur only in the manner prescribed by the law. The Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment protects individuals from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. It ensures that law enforcement cannot search your home, belongings, or seize property without a valid reason. This amendment is seen much more often due to the mass deportation law ensued by President Trump. Watch this brief video to see how this amendment takes place in everyday life from now on.
Taxes to understand their rights if an ICE agent shows up at their door.
They don't have to open the door to anyone. They shouldn't open the door. Secondly, they shouldn't answer any questions. Thirdly, they shouldn't sign anything.
Which which is exactly what an immigration attorney told me. You're only required to open the door if the agent has a judicial search warrant. This would clearly have a judge's signature at the bottom. He says you also have the right to record the encounter with ICE.
And the idea is to create.
Moving on to the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment safeguards the rights of individuals in the legal system, ensuring fair treatment by the government, protecting against unjust legal actions, and preserving personal freedoms like property rights and freedom from self-incrimination. Pleading the Fifth is a very popular term that correlates with the Fifth Amendment. Pleading the Fifth means that a person refuses to answer a question, typically in a legal or an interrogation setting, because their answer could potentially incriminate them or expose them to criminal liability. Now, we are on to the Sixth Amendment. The Sixth Amendment is crucial for ensuring a fair and just legal process for those accused of crimes. It protects the right of the accused and provides essential protections to prevent wrongful convictions or unfair trials. The amendment guarantees that criminal defendants have the resources and opportunities to defend themselves adequately in court. The next amendment on the list is the Seventh Amendment. The Seventh Amendment guarantees the right to a jury trial in civil case, where the value of the dispute exceeds a certain amount, historically set at $20, though this amount is not relevant today in terms of practical use. This means that if you are involved in a civil lawsuit, you have the right to have a group or your peers decide the outcome, rather than a judge making the decision. The Eighth Amendment ensures fairness and humanity in the criminal justice system. It protects individuals from being subjected to extreme punishments or financial burdens that go beyond what is reasonable or just, helping to maintain a moral and just society. The amendment has been central in debates over the death penalty, prison conditions, and sentencing practices, highlighting the need and justice that respects human dignity. Moving on to the second to last, the Ninth Amendment clarifies that the rights listed in the Constitution are not the only rights people have. Just because a specific right isn't mentioned in the Constitution doesn't mean it doesn't exist. People have other rights beyond what is written in the Constitution, and these rights should be protected as well. Finally, on to the last amendment. The Tenth Amendment emphasizes that any powers that the Constitution does not specifically give to the federal government or that it does not take away from the states are reserved for the states or the people. This means that if the Constitution doesn't mention a particular power or responsibility, it belongs to the state of government or to individuals, not the federal government. Part 3. Responsibilities. Now that we have went through most, if not all of the rights, let's now take a look at the responsibilities. So, while the Bill of Rights primarily outlines individual freedoms, there are also responsibilities attached to these rights. Citizens must respect the rights of others and comply with the laws designed to protect everyone's freedom. Here are some key responsibilities. The first that I have on my short list are respect for others' rights. This means that exercising a right to free speech, for example, must not harm others or incite violence. Basically saying that you can use your freedom of speech, but do not use this to hurt others in any way. The second to last responsibility that I have on my list is serving on a jury. The Sixth and Seventh Amendments require citizens to participate in the judicial process when summoned. My fourth and final responsibility on my list is avoiding harm. The Eighth Amendment protects against cruel and unusual punishment, but it also places a responsibility on citizens to refrain from committing such crimes that will lead to such punishment. And there you have it. The Bills of Rights establishes a balance between individual freedom and the responsibility to maintain a functioning, peaceful society. It ensures that rights are protected but requires citizens to exercise them in ways that respect others and uphold the rule of law. To summarize everything, the Bill of Rights not only safeguards essential individual freedoms but also emphasizes the importance of responsibilities, teaching that personal liberties must be exercised in ways that respect the rights of others and contribute to the common good, thus ensuring a balanced and functioning society. Thank you all for sitting down and watching my documentary. Hope you enjoyed it, as I also enjoyed making it. Goodbye.